Okay, so for the following circuit, we have to find VO. We're told what V1 is. V1 is 4 volts. V2 is 3 volts. Okay. So for this op amp, we know that the current at these 2 points will be 0, and the voltage difference will be 0. So the voltage here and the voltage here should be the same. So if it's 4 volts here, then it's 4 volts here, and that means that it's 4 volts here as well. Now this one, this op amp, we see the voltage here will be 0, and that makes the voltage here at 0 as well. And since the current passing through this wire is 0, we can practically ignore it. So the current passing through here, let's call this I1, will be the same as the current passing through here. So this will also be I1. Okay? And then there'll be a current of I2 here. Okay? So let's solve for I1. I1 will be 3 minus 0. So 3 minus 0 all over 10,000 ohms. And that gives me 3 times 10 to the minus 4 amps. Okay, so that's what I1 is. And let's find the voltage here. And side note, I1 is not the current passing through here. Okay, so the current passing through this wire is not I1 because there's a current coming through here. Okay, and obviously it's going to be tricky to find that current, so we're not going to really focus on it. Let's find the voltage here and see what we can work with that. So let's call the voltage here VA. Okay, so to find VA, it's going to be 0 minus VA all over 50,000 ohms, and this will be equal to I1. This is another formula for I1. So 0 minus VA all over 50,000. That should also give you I1. And I1 was 3 times 10 to the minus 4 amps. So VA will be minus 15. Okay, so this region, it's minus 15 volts. And we can actually solve for the voltage here, because notice for this op amp, it's 0 volts here. That makes 0 volts here. And since this is connected to each other, it's going to be 0 volts here. So we can actually solve for the current for this. So let's call this I3. And I3 will be minus 15 minus 0 all over 30,000. And that will give me minus 5 times 10 to the minus 4 amps. So that's what I3 is represented by. Let's find I2. I2 will be 4 minus 0 all over 20,000. And that's 2 times 10 to the minus 4 amps. Okay? And finally, and since we know the current for this wire is 0, we're just going to ignore that. So that means the current here, let's call this I4, will be the same as the current here. So let's solve for I4. We see I4 will just be, we see for this node, I2 and I3 are entering it, and this will be equal to I4. So this plus this should give you I4. So 2 times 10 to the minus 4 minus 5 times 10 to the minus 4. That gives you minus 3 times 10 to the minus 4, and that's your I4 value. And we can use that to solve for VO. So I4 is also passing through, so we solve for I4 here, and that's the same thing as here. So I4 is also equal to 0 minus VO. So 0 minus VO all over 60,000 ohms. And this will be equal to I4. And I4 will be minus 3 times 10 to the minus 4. So let's solve for VO. And we get VO to be 18 volts. And that's your final answer.